Hey everyone, welcome to the Brute Neighbors podcast. We are here. We are live with what episode is it?
Number 10. What? Double
Number
digits.
10.
Did you think we'd make it this far, Seth? Double digits?
Maybe. Who's to
Well, we
say?
did.
Honestly,
Well, we can say because we did.
I've blocked out so much of the last few months, so yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty shit year, but you know what's not shit? Well, debatably, this podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with us for 10 whole episodes, guys. Hopefully we'll do a lot more. Yeah, thanks for, sticking around, Spencer, and maybe other viewers. Comment if you want us to give you shout outs, because that's the only reason. Like, we can't shout you out if we don't know you're watching. So, drop a comment.
We love all of our subscribers equally. We just
All
love
15.
Spencer a little more equally.
Yeah, because he engages with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spencer. We appreciate you.
But anyway, for episode 10, we've got a very special episode for you.
Yeah, we do. I
What
cooked
are we
something
talking
up.
about this week?
So, here's the deal. For episode 10, I wanted to bring forward something special. So, this week we're going to be talking about modes of transportation, also, specifically planes, trains, and automobiles. The movie
that
we're
sounds
going to
pretty
be,
straightforward.
nice. The movie we're going to be talking about is planes, trains, and automobiles.
Huh?
And
okay.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. That's pretty on theme.
yeah. And the third topic is random, but you get the theme. I think you'll get the vibe when we get to there.
Ooh, I wonder what the third episode's
You saw the title. You saw the YouTube title. Seth hasn't, but you've seen the title. You know what you're getting into. This train wreck. Train,
But,
get it?
Funny.
Funny.
Also, Philip was having some trouble deciphering my clues last week, but Philip's dumb.
You're right. Who are you, my family?
Philip, stop! You're gonna make me cry.
Who are you, my high school teachers? Who are you, God?
Damn.
What's your favorite mode of transport, Seth?
Rip. So anyway, modes of transportation. Let's hop right in here. Come on.
Hop on the train. All right, so plane, trains, and automobiles. What are your experience with these things, Seth?
Well, I have quite a bit of experience with all of these things. I have driven a car for the last 6 years of my life. My car, my precious Fiat, which I drove for years.
It's fucking dead, bitch.
It just died this last week, and it was quite sad. Poor Luigi.
Luigi.
So I am currently I'm legitimately getting around to everything that I need to get to on my bike. So,
Seth, we've flipped roles because I actually just got a car for the first time ever. I finally own a car, and I've never owned a car prior to like 5 days ago. So we flipped through roles in life, Seth.
Yes.
I have the mode of transport.
It's like what's that movie with
Freaky Friday.
No. It's got Eddie Murphy and I think
Trading Spaces.
Trading Spaces.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
It's like that.
It's like that movie that we may or may not know the title to.
Correct.
Like
that movie,
Pauper.
which may or may not be the correct movie I am referencing.
Yeah, we're actually talking about Schindler's List.
Oh, shoot. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the one about the Nazis, right?
No, it's about the Armenian genocide.
Okay, but I've seen that one too. So, but anyway, I mean, well, yeah, let's just, I mean, let's kind of work backwards here. Cars. Delaware is a very mobile place. We aren't very centralized. I feel like a lot of other parts of the country, you have like very centralized communities where you live, work, and buy things. In Delaware, you kind of you live in one city, you work in another city, you buy groceries in a different city, and I feel like,
Well, it's also easy when your state's like 5 feet long.
I mean, touche. And I mean that's kind of what happens when you live in a more urbanized area of the country. And so they really do instill in you this kind of feeling of like mobility, and you kind of need a car. So driver's ed is essentially mandatory. I mean, you can opt out if you want, but everyone is like automatically put into a driver's ed class here. And so I had driver's ed when I was 15. I got a driver's license as soon as I could. And so I've been driving for quite a while because of that.
Yeah. See, so I am from the South, Alabama, in particular, and the thing is, Alabama does not have like any public transportation. Really, the South in general doesn't. But I just, for a lot of reasons, was not able to get a car for a very long time. And let me tell you, that shit sucks because it like how you're saying like you have to drive like here and there. Like I mean, literally like where I lived growing up before I moved to college, like the nearest Walmart was a 20-minute drive away. Like
Yikes.
drive. So imagine not having a car. Like it was impossible to get a job, and if you can't get a job, you can't get a car.
Mm-hmm.
And it just you're fucked if you don't have people who can just give you a car, which I didn't until recently. And it's just yeah. So it's the South is not a great place to not have a car
Mm-hmm.
because again there is no public transport really. Like I just moved to Atlanta, and up until getting this car, I was using the MARTA, which is our train station here, which is better than I thought it would be, honestly. I thought it was going to be garbage, but like the lines are still like that run are pretty limited. The train, there's only a few trains, so it's like there's only a train every like 20 to 30 minutes, so it's pretty long waits if you miss a train.
Yeah.
But that's all you got. And like I think they have a bus system too, but it's just even in Atlanta, which is arguably one of, if not the South's biggest cities. Even if even here the public transport is kind of shit, like you can imagine what it's like out in the middle of nowhere in bumblefuck Alabama.
Well, and that is something I definitely take for granted up here in the Northeast. Is we do have quite good public transportation. Like our bus system in Delaware, DART, people give it a lot of shit, and I mean it's not great, but it's a pretty extensive network. The buses run relatively regularly, and so like from my tiny little town of 2,000, I can get on the bus like twice every hour, take it up to Wilmington where I can catch a train and take that pretty much anywhere I want to go in the Eastern Seaboard. So hypothetically, anybody without a car still has options. We are also a very bikeable state too. We have a ton of bike lanes all over the place. That's extremely convenient if that is the kind of transportation you are able to use.
Yeah, I will say you would think that the South would be more bike friendly,
Yeah.
but Alabama in particular is horrible about bike
Oh
lanes
yeah.
and bike safety. Atlanta is better than I expected. The issue with Atlanta is that like there'll be a bike lane, but then it'll just stop, and then there's not like another one for like. And it's like it's very inconsistent is the issue.
Yeah.
It's like there's not just straight bike lanes on like the major areas that like most people would need to go. It's just very hit or miss.
Mm,
And but like Alabama doesn't have bike lanes like at all.
yeah.
If you're lucky, you can ride on the shoulder of a road
Well, I mean,
or
even when we were in college, trying to bike from one side of Tuscaloosa to the other, you were hoping the cars were gracious enough not to run you off the road, because
Mhm.
there was enough room in a lane for one car, and
Yep.
you were riding in that same lane with all the other cars.
Mm-hmm. It's very surprisingly just very unbike friendly. And people have a weird hatred for bikers too. I
I
don't know
don't
if
get
if
that.
that's universal, but like I know in the South people just fucking hate bike riders. They'll like explicitly try to run them off the road and like just to be assholes. And like I
That's
get people are assholes, but like but why though? Like what does that accomplish? What how does them, biking harm you in any capacity? You're just being a
now.
dickhead.
Now I do get the hate for motorcyclists, which I feel bad about because I know a lot of people who have motorcycles and they're very nice people.
I have a motorcyclist friend, okay? I can say this.
But no, I mean just like there are a lot of motorcyclists out there who are just obnoxious. Uh,
They're gonna piss off the biker gangs that attacked
I
us a couple weeks ago. You're gonna get mugged.
so
We
I'm
love the biker gangs. We're very pro biker gangs.
we are I want to make this very clear. We are pro biker. You guys are the good ones.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I've honestly, prior to getting this car, like I was seriously considering getting a motorcycle and
Yeah.
knowing that I would probably die in a flaming wreck. But like, I mean, that's my life anyway, so might as well, die like you live, man. Like, I don't know, motorcycles are just like cool, you don't gotta worry about anything. You don't have to worry about luggage and shit. It's just you in the road, man. You're going vroom vroom. Motorcycles, that's what they sound like.
we weaving in and out of traffic even when that they really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's what I hate is when I'm in a traffic jam
People just go
and
straight
then
up the
the
middle in a
motorcycles
motorcycle.
show up and just sort of weave between everybody like they don't have to follow traffic laws.
They don't. They are immune.
They're vehicles.
To,
Bikes are technically supposed to follow the same
oh
rules of
yeah,
the road
it's like
as
it's technically illegal to ride, at least in most states, to ride bikes on the sidewalk. You're
yeah,
supposed to ride in the road.
yeah.
Most people
And
don't care. Like most cops aren't going to stop you just because they know that like people are going to like try and kill you if you ride in the road on some roads. But like technically, it's illegal to ride a bike on the sidewalk.
yeah,
Yeah, so public transport, I am very pro just because, like, I think we need a lot better public transport in the South. That's something that we are very lacking on. Like, we can't even get our roads maintained, man, like, especially in Alabama. Georgia is also kind of rough, but not as bad as Alabama so far, to my experience. But, like, it's still a little rough around the edges, and, like, just the roads themselves, let alone public transport.
look, man, all I want is better train systems in this country.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and I know that it's very easy to be like, oh, Europe has this and Europe has that, especially when I mean Europe is a lot more densely populated than the United States. But like, it's just very convenient. All the train systems they have over there, you can just hop on it, like walk over to the nearest train station and get to any other relatively sizable town in the rest of the country.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's just something you can pretty much only get to the most major cities by train. And that it's usually crazy expensive. I need Elon Musk to finish his Hyperloop, and then we can all just, zoom around.
We really should have, like, bullet trains that can get you
Oh, yeah,
across the country. Like, I should be able to go to Seattle now, right now.
right
Just
now.
bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Where's my Seattle
That
train?
that is most of my. I mean, I've been on bigger train rides before, but most of my experience with trains has been riding the New Jersey Transit up to New York because my
Hmm.
my family would take trips to New York at least like once a year growing up, and I have a lot of appreciation for just this public train system that runs extremely regularly, that's affordable, and just if you look at the New Jersey Transit rail system, it really does feel like those European train systems where you can get anywhere in northern Jersey just by hopping on a different train.
Yeah. That's something we definitely need throughout the country
Yeah.
because it's, again, if you don't have a car, you're fucked. And I feel like so many people take that for granted. Like I've had so many friends who like didn't even like I was like their only friend who didn't have a car, and they're like I opened their eyes in a lot of ways of just like, oh, like, oh, you can't just go wherever you want on a whim. Like, oh, you have to get a ride or get an Uber, or and like how costly that can be. But like, oh, why don't you just get a car then? It's like, excuse you, do you know how much cars cost? And of course they don't, because a lot of people are gifted them by their parents,
Yeah.
or like that's very common. If you don't like I'd say,
I would
I mean, I have no actual numbers here, but I mean, definitely the majority of kids in college, I would say 90% of them probably had their car given to them.
I think that's a very good estimate. 90% either have been like bought them by their parents or were gifted them by their parents.
Yeah.
I mean that's how I've gotten every car I've driven is just my parents like gave me one of their old cars.
And here's the thing too, is even now that I've just now gotten a car, I've been trying to get a car for, how old am I? Like 5, 6 years
Yeah.
at least. And just so many factors kept coming the way that I was not able to buy one. Even now, I was only able to get one because someone basically gave me a car. You know, I had to pay for like the licensing and fees and shit, but the actual car themselves, it was just their old car. They were getting a new one, and they were a very dear friend of mine. And they're like, "Hey, I know you need a car. I'll give it to you for basically free. You take care of this other shit." And so even with that, I still ended up falling into the same category as everyone else of just giving. It wasn't my parents, but like someone gave me a car basically,
Yeah.
and like, and that was 6 years of trying to get a car. So imagine all the people that can't even have, you know, a very good friend who like is getting rid of their car or whatever.
Mm.
Like people really take their vehicles for granted,
Oh yeah.
and it's kind of, it's very annoying, you know.
I'm
It's very
sure.
annoying. Like it's like, oh, just do this, that, and the other, and it's like, oh, hey, come drive over to my house. I don't have a car. I've told you this several times. You know I don't have a car. It's like, oh, my bad. It's like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
thanks. But so it's just take your car for, you know, appreciate your car.
That
Get you
was
places.
I remember in high school how obnoxious it was. My town was a good distance away from where I went to high school, and most of my friends lived in the same general area as the high school. And so if I was ever staying after for extracurricular activities and like I didn't have a car while I was in high school, and so like I couldn't get any of my friends to drive me home because I just lived too far away, and just waiting around for one of my parents to get off work. We really do live in a society that is so, in the United States, is so reliant on everyone having this sort of independence through vehicles, that you don't think about the weaknesses in the system where
Yeah, we
like
have a very car centric culture,
yes.
and there's actually a really great there's this show that it's relatively famous called Adam Ruins Everything, and
Yeah.
he actually did an episode on like kind of the car culture in America, and it's an interesting video. Definitely look it up. I'm sure it's on YouTube because he usually posts the individual segments on YouTube. But it really breaks down how like we could have gone the direction of public transit, but we just instead marketed it towards vehicles, and you know, car companies really pushed it, and then now we just have this freedom, like car equals freedom culture. So, you know, everyone has to have a car, but then there's so many things, you like hoops you have to jump through to get a car, that not everyone can. If you don't inherit a car or are given a car, it's very hard to get it.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't even get my driver's license. I had my permit when I was 16, but I never had anyone to take me to get my driver's license until I was 20.
Yeah.
you know, and I knew how to drive. I had no one to take me, you know. So it's really ridiculous how. And I was one of the people who was actually able to get one
Mhm.
eventually. There's so many people that haven't and won't
Yep.
ever because it's so hard. Like I was just very lucky to have some awesome friends in my life to help me out. But a lot of people don't even have that or have people who can help them. So it's like fucking help people out, man. If you have a shitty car that you're trying to get rid of, give it to your poor friend who doesn't have a car or donate it. I'm sure there has to be some kind of car donation thing, right? There has to be some
Yeah.
kind of charity that helps people get cars, right? There has to be.
I would hope so.
Let's start one. The Brute Neighbors
Okay.
Charity. We're gonna get people
The
cars.
the brute neighbors, car sanctuary.
You get a car, and you get a car. You all get cars. We're the new Oprah.
Yes.
That's what they're calling us on YouTube. The new
We've actually been branded YouTube's next Oprah.
Oprah. Yep, it's true. At least two people have called us that.
It's true. Now I won't say whether those two people were Philip
On the
and Seth.
podcast. Yeah.
Um,
um, Jesus. But yeah, so take your cars, you know, appreciate them, you know, they get you places. They're like your shoes in a lot of ways. They're fancy shoes.
yes.
They're fancy high tech shoes with
And look, all I'm
wheels.
saying is if we got more trains, if we got more people using public transport, less people driving their cars all the time, just look at all the you know stuff that came out at the beginning of the coronavirus crisis when everyone was staying inside. There were none of those commuters going into Philly and all the big cities, and you just saw these maps of exhaust and all this pollution that comes out of that suddenly disappear. And it's you
The
know what
dolphins
if
swam in
we
the
want to
canals of Venice.
help the earth?
Nature is healing.
We are the virus.
I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole. Tune in
Anyway,
next week for Is
planes.
Humanity Terrible? Planes. So I don't have a lot of exposure to planes
Hmm.
because again, I'm fucking poor. But I have ridden planes probably 3 or 4 times in my life. My most recent time was my senior year of high school. I was able to go with on like a sponsored like field trip to DC, and we flew. I like planes; they're fun. Which is weird. Like I'm actually pretty afraid of heights, but like you don't really feel it in a plane. Like I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
mental thing or what, but like you don't really feel like you're thousands of feet in the air. I mean if I was looking out about to jump out, I'd probably feel the height, but like just like riding a plane, it's just like riding a bus. It's just a fancy sky bus.
Yeah.
So I like planes. They're fun. Airport security wasn't as bad as I thought it would be either, honestly. And maybe I'm just
Nah.
privileged in that regard. But like I did not get stopped or anything. And like I thought they were gonna like really just hammer me. But like airport security it was actually pretty in and out. And maybe also just been the airport I was
Yeah.
in. Like
It definitely does depend on the airport, and it depends on the time of day.
yeah, I didn't have any issues with them. Like again, like maybe I'm privileged and got lucky, but like they seem fine.
I mean I've never had too bad of experiences with the TSA. I do remember one time last summer I was going on a plane trip, and we were leaving out of the Philly airport, and it was comical. The line leading up to the TSA, it stretched back pretty far along, and so we started making jokes about how, oh, it's like we're waiting in line for a ride at Disney World, and darned if there weren't signs on the wall that said, from this point, it will take you 45 minutes to get through the TSA line. From this
Oh
point,
my
it will
God.
take you an hour to get through the TSA line.
Jesus. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
long. So yeah, I think when I did it, it was only like I think the longest one coming back from DC to Alabama was like 30 minutes probably.
Yeah. And I feel like
Um,
that's pretty standard.
yeah. But yeah, I had no issues with planes. They were fun. I actually really want to go skydiving someday. As someone who is terrified
I
of heights, that is something that I want to do. Actually, I pitched you a show idea that would be the season finale of that show idea.
I I don't know about that. I mean, okay, so I love planes. I have been on planes tons of times. Um, Especially going to school in Alabama, living in Delaware. I mean, I was averaging about 4 plane rides every year just for
Jesus.
like winter break and summer break.
Yeah, you've almost definitely ridden planes more in a year than I have my whole life.
Yes, I there is definitely a year where I must have ridden on more planes than you have in your entire
Oh
life.
yeah, I've probably only ridden on planes maybe 5 or 6 times at most.
Yeah. But I, 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 I really want to go skydiving. I think that sounds really cool. Just a really neat experience. But there's that little nagging at the back of my brain. What if it goes wrong? And it's not as much the me thinking it's actually going to go wrong as much as if it does go wrong, that sounds like a really shitty way to go.
See, the thing is, like, you'd probably die instantaneously, especially if you land on your head.
Yeah, and you'll probably explode.
Yeah, but you'll be quick. Like, I'd rather explode and have it be over with than like be on fire and slowly crisp to death.
I
Like
suppose.
burning to death is like my like that is like one of my like most terrified of dying that way. Because
You'll
like I'd rather freeze to death than burn to death. I'd rather honestly I'd probably rather drown, and I've almost drowned before than burn to death because that it's just that sounds awful. We love these fun subjects on the Root Neighbors podcast.
next week is means of
Dying.
torture, murder.
Ooh, that would actually be a lot of fun. I want to talk about the brass bowl.
Oh God,
Do you know that one?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, that one's we're putting that on the list. We have something special to introduce at the end of the episode. Well, we'll explain later, but I'm just adding that to the
Oh,
list.
I wonder what it's gonna be, Philip.
Is it a list?
Way to ruin the surprise.
A list of some form or fashion? Oh yeah, I would really want to go skydiving. I want that's one like that's a bucket list thing. I feel like I gotta do it at some point in my life.
That's one of my favorite fun facts about George Bush Sr., like the first George Bush to be president, is
Hmm.
he had this tradition where he would go skydiving once a year on his birthday. And he did it like well into his 90s. I'm
Jesus,
just like he was in a wheelchair and he just had he would be strapped up to the guy and they'd push him out the airplane.
that's a bit much. I feel like one and done. Like okay, I survived it. All right,
Not gonna
I'm
risk it again.
yeah, that's it. I did it. I can say I did it. I feel like at this point, I'm just like, there's so many things that could have killed me already in my life. I'm gonna just go all out, man. I hate the whole YOLO thing, but like to a degree, it's kind of that. I'm just like, I'm probably gonna die stupidly anyway. I'm gonna get an
So
anvil dropped on my head.
if you're just tuning in now, Philip just said YOLO. Heard
I
it
did.
here
I
first.
said it in the context of the meme. I did not, in and of itself, say YOLO.
Philip said YOLO.
You can't prove that in a court of law. Play the tape back. I'm the editor.
Anyway, airplane food. I've
What's
actually,
the deal with airline food?
you know what? I have had more good experiences with airplane food than bad experiences. I mean, I think I've only gotten them on international flights that I've had like actual full meals, but I can remember a couple of meals that I like really enjoyed. I also, it's a thing for whatever reason, I cannot fly out of the country without spilling some sort of food on me on the plane. Uh,
That
like
sounds like a
like
Seth thing.
literally, I've done 2 study abroad trips while I was in college, and both times I spilled something all over me before I got off the plane.
Jesus Christ. Of course you would, Seth.
I'm completely uncoordinated.
See, I don't think I think I had like peanuts or something generic when I flew. I
Well,
want to get drunk on a plane. I feel like that'd be fun.
I that's on the bucket list.
There's a lot of things I could do on a plane.
I could think of a couple things.
I could do some things on a plane.
Um,
Fly the plane. Actually, I did actually. I'm sure it's expired by now, but I had my ground license to fly at one point.
oh yeah,
Like,
because you were in the ROTC.
yeah, I was in Air Force ROTC, and there's a special program that like put us through all this training to get your ground license, which is the first step of actually flying a plane. I didn't pursue it further after getting my ground license. My eyesight is shit, so I could never pursue it like as a career.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, whatever. So I would have to do the whole thing again if I ever wanted to like for some reason. It'd have to be if I was rich and like fly a private plane. There's no other circumstance I would ever fly a plane. But I did have my ground license, so I knew all sorts of shit about airplanes at one point. Do I remember it now? Not really. That was like 6 years ago, and my brain is fried. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did have my ground license at one point. That was fun.
Well, I had my aviation merit badge, so pretty much the same thing.
Clearly, yeah.
That qualifies me to fly a plane, right? I think so.
Sure. You could be an air traffic controller. They have the one of the highest
The
suicide
highest
rates of
suicide
any
rates.
job. Yeah. Of almost and maybe of any job. It's at least almost of any. Like they have
Yeah.
extremely high suicide rates. So
They gotta work absurd hours. They've got to work on holidays. They never get to see their families.
yep.
Stressful job.
Yeah, they have literally hundreds of thousands of people's lives in their hands. I considered being an air traffic controller at one point.
Good.
I mean they get paid good. Like they make like I think start pay is like just under 100,000 a year.
Sheesh.
So
Pretty
like it's
nice.
good pay. You're just never gonna ever be able to use any of that money. A, because you might have killed yourself. B, um, you work insane hours, so you're never gonna go out and like you live at the tower while you're working.
Yeah.
Because you're working basically like 24-hour days, but like you like tag off with people to sleep and stuff. But you're working for like weeks straight sometimes.
Yeah.
So like it's if you just want to make a fuck ton of money for a few years and can deal with stress well, go for it. But Jesus, take the wheel. Is it a stressful job and you're never gonna have any free time?
Yeah.
And like I remember because I took a tour of an air traffic control tower, and the guy. So this was their guy who did the tours. He was their like spokesperson, and he just seemed like morbidly depressed the entire tour. He was like, "Yeah, this is where we sleep." Sometimes if you can sleep. Um, this is the
Okay.
tower. We try not to jump from it. He didn't say that. I embellished that.
He didn't actually say that.
He didn't say that part.
He said it in here.
I could hear him in my heart.
Yeah.
I could hear him cry out. Yeah, air traffic controllers. It's a fun job, guys. We need more. We actually do need more because if they were staffed more, they wouldn't have to work as insane hours. But
Yeah. Become an air traffic controller. This
I think
week's
that's our
episode
message.
sponsored by
Air traffic control.
yeah.
We are very pro air traffic control. If you're an air traffic control person listening, we love you.
Those are our boys in blue out there.
That's the only blue we care about on this podcast.
Okay, don't forget about the postal service.
Oh, you're right. We need to fund them. They need money real bad right now.
Like really bad.
Yeah. We love you, Postal Service and air traffic controllers.
Yes, sir. I know this isn't necessarily with the planes, trains, and automobiles theme, but I think we can't do modes of transportation without talking about boats.
Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes.
I feel like the boat is the sexiest mode of transportation.
Unicycles.
Damn it! Not again.
Yeah, the unicycles.
Oh, and I forgot about the hoverboard.
God, hoverboard. Okay. Weird thing Philip is randomly angry about. We're going to make that a segment on the show.
Okay.
I fucking hate that hoverboard, the name hoverboard has been stolen for these stupid little they're just segways that are just, don't have a handle. But
Yeah.
like hoverboards are supposed to be these things that actually fucking hover and you fly around and do cool shit in the future. That's not a hoverboard. It's just a shitty Segway without a handle. And then now it's ruined. We can never call hoverboards hoverboards when we
Or
actually have hoverboards.
alternatively, it's a Segway that does not have that pesky pole in the way, so it's cooler. You
But it
know,
doesn't hover.
while
It's still
you're
on the
while
ground. It has
you're
wheels. If it has wheels, it's
busy
not a hoverboard.
walking, I could be over here, saving my energy, zooming around, having a good time,
It's literally just a
picking up
Segway.
all the ladies.
Yes, hop on, ladies. Oh wait, there's only room for my two big ass feet.
Yeah.
They're stupid. They've stolen the name from when we actually get real hoverboards, and I hate that. We're gonna have to call them
Dude,
Zoom
I
planks.
I used to be so like I wanted to be the person to invent a hoverboard.
Me too. Is that just a thing that us nerdy ass kids did when we were kids?
Yeah.
Like, I want to
Well,
invent
I feel
hoverboards.
like we all watched Jimmy Neutron
I
and
didn't
saw.
watch Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, okay. Well, we all watched Back to the Future.
I have seen Back to the Future.
Okay.
We're
And
getting somewhere.
we like that's one of those things that you think like, oh, that probably could be real. And I mean, just me having gotten a B in my gen ed science classes, that just general understanding. I can think of a couple of feasible ways how you could maybe make a hoverboard. And so you're like, hey, that sounds realistic enough. I'm gonna be the one to invent it, make millions of dollars. It's gonna be awesome.
See, we're very off track here now, but when I was a kid, so I had stuff like that, like I wanted to make hoverboards. But like I remember when I was a kid, like all these things of like things I wanted to invent and do and stuff. I had lofty aspirations. I wanted to make like a giant, like functional underwater city.
Mm,
Like
yeah, yeah.
Venice, but
I
futuristic.
actually I came up with plans, and by plans I like I use the term plan in the most wide.
I made a couple of drawings and
Yes,
had like, yeah.
I had whole plans for floating cities, like
Oh,
cities.
you were going above the water though.
Yes.
I wanted to go ocean floor, baby,
Okay.
all the way down. See, because like I love the idea of underwater cities.
Yeah.
Like I think I've always loved the idea of Atlantis, and let's just do that again, but make it work. Because you only ever see underwater cities in like horror movies.
Yeah.
Like you never see underwater cities that work. I wanted to do
Well,
that in
I
real
mean,
life.
because just going through a general story structure, you cannot have any sort of story with an underwater city in which the dome will not crack by the end. It's almost like Chekhov's gun.
Okay, but like, just do it like if you treat it as the setting, like Blade Runner has all this shit going on. And yes, like a lot of the problems that happen are
Oh,
because of the technology, but like the world still fully exists. The world doesn't just stop existing at the end of the movie.
you, you
Like
know
there's
what else I
problems in the
think?
world, but like it can still as a setting work.
I'm actually remembering I came up with underwater homes too, like on the seafloor, and it was actually I think it was right after I was doing I was reading up a lot on Walt Disney's like City of Tomorrow,
Hmm.
and just like planning all these little houses, like, okay, here's the optimal way to have a house set up. It'll all be there will be 4 different living pods going into one shared space, and this is how we're going to solve the overcrowding the overpopulation
We kill them all
crisis.
every Tuesday.
we're gonna
There's
we're
a
gonna stick
culling.
them all underwater.
Um, but yeah, no, I've always been fascinated by underwater stuff. I'm a sucker for underwater stories and stuff because there's not enough. I love underwater shit, man. Like there was a movie that came out this year called Underwater. Not a great movie, but I loved it because I fucking love the concept of just underwater cities and stuff. Like there's not a lot of good underwater movies.
Aquaman?
It looked pretty.
Okay.
It's okay. I enjoyed it. It's not like amazing though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I want where's my Blade Runner for underwater movies? Where's my underwater Star Wars?
We've got to write it, Philip.
We gotta write it.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for the Brit Neighbors podcast when we have made an entire $100 million film.
Correct.
Set underwater.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we very tangented. That's just something that weird things Philip's passionate about. That's our new segment. But yeah, I'm very pro public transportation in general. I really like having a car now. It's fucking awesome. I just jam out to music and fucking drive, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go on my first road trip, like with me at the wheel.
That's
I mean, when we rode together, like I drove a little bit, but like just me. But I mean, I guess I have done it when I like moved. I had a U-Haul, so never mind. There's nothing special here.
Don't no, Philip. You know what? It's gonna be special because it's gonna be yours.
It'll be mine, all mine. But yeah, I'm very pro cars. Trains need some improvement just because they don't get funding anymore.
No.
And then we need more rails and more cars, more trains to make them fully viable. But the concept of trains, I am very pro. Planes as well. Planes are cool. I used to love planes as a kid. Part of me wishes I'd try to become a pilot, but yeah, just my eyesight kind of prevented me from doing that professionally.
I'm pro modes of transportation. I'm pro planes. I'm pro trains, but you're right, needs improvement. And pro automobiles. I wish we had more electric automobiles, but
It's electric.
that's something we're moving more and more towards.
We're getting there slowly. Yeah. I say as I drive my 1998 Toyota Camry.
Exactly.
That's all I can do. It's hard out here for a pimp. Got to get the money for the car payment.
Well, I mean, the only electric cars really worth getting are Teslas, and unless you've got like 30,000 or 40,000 laying around, you can't get even the cheapest one.
I don't even make that in 2 years, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, pro planes, trains, and automobiles. Wow, I butchered that. We're gonna cut it. Stop talking. Don't say anything clever. All right, we're done talking.
Okay.
So we're pro. Fucking hell, I can't talk anymore. I can't do it. Planes, trains, and automobiles. That should not be a tongue twister.
See, I know you just said that you were going to edit that out.
I gotta stay in now.
Your track record, that whole sequence is still going to be in.
Oh yeah, it's all in. It's all in.
Yes.
We're cutting it out. It's all in.
Correct.
Hey, I have cut some things. Some things have gotten cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you cut?
Like that time you said, bleep. I cut that.
Oh shit! I forgot about the time I said. Beep.
Yeah, I had to cut bleep. That was unfortunate. I had to cut that. What? Seth, stop! It's too much. Whoa! We can't say that on air.
Fine. Okay. This is.
If I couldn't call Rush Limbaugh, bleep.
Speaking of family podcasts, family, Thanksgiving. Our next topic, the film.
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, in case you didn't get that from the title. So, yeah, I just watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time, like, 2 days ago.
I only saw it for the first time, like, 2 months ago.
Yeah, so we're both very recent plane, train, and automobilists watchers. So yeah, it was an interesting movie. It was all right.
Yeah, that's about my feelings too. I mean, like, it's nice, but
yeah.
it was definitely overhyped for me.
Yeah, I think kind of same. Like I would always hear it come up when I'd be like, oh, there's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies, and it's like, oh, I mean, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles kind of is, and they're like,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, maybe I'll check it out someday. I finally did for the podcast, and like, I'll say it's not very funny. Like, and I don't think necessarily is trying to be like laugh out loud funny, but like I think I laughed out loud like maybe once. Like the
Yeah.
rest of the time, it's just like it's fun, but like it's I guess, but it's just Steve Martin getting shit on for 90% of the movie. It's like it's and it's not even like because I don't really I'm not a big fan of slapstick. I know you hate me for it, but like I couldn't get into Home Alone for that reason because I'm not taking this
Slapstick
one.
is literally the bare bones of comedy. That
It's
is
just
no comedy.
I just can't get into like, oh man, this person got hurt, haha. Like I don't find that funny. Like I'm a dry wit kind of guy.
I'm gonna get on my bike and I'm gonna bike down to Atlanta and I'm
I'll
gonna
drive
kick
away
you in
because
the
I can do that now.
balls and I'm gonna laugh.
Well, that's because you're a sadist.
That too.
You like to see
Um,
me hurt. I yeah, I don't know. Just like so yeah, I'm not a big slapstick guy, but like this wasn't even really slapstick in a lot of ways. Like it was just like bad things happened to this man.
yeah.
But he's kind of an asshole. So I guess he's learning his lesson to be less of an asshole. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, and tonally it was weird too, because I mean, you have all this stuff with Steve Martin and John Candy just kind of goofing off, and then I mean, especially at the end when you have that hard left turn
Oh
of
yeah, spoilers. I
John
guess for Plane,
Candy's
Trains, and
wife has been
Automobiles.
dead for 8 years.
Oh my god, that spoiler one and then in time. Jesus.
Oh yeah, spoiler warning. We spoilers for the John Hughes film Plane, Trains, and
Even though
Automobiles.
you already fucking spoiled it.
Well,
I
also
think at this
wait,
point, if you're
okay,
watching,
so where was he going? What, like, if he was headed back to Chicago, why did he have nowhere to go? Why was he just chilling in the train station until
see,
Steve
that's my
Martin
thing.
came?
I think was the implication that he was homeless this entire time. That's kind of what I was thinking.
I don't
Was that supposed to be the
I don't
implication?
think so.
Because like he actually
Well,
like
if he was actually homeless, he wouldn't be flying around. And
well
like,
he actually did make money I think with the shower curtain rings.
yeah.
But like I don't know where did he get those from? Did he just keep buying? Like I think maybe that's
Well,
what that scene was
I
for,
mean,
where he was shown like kind of like hijinking people, like oh these are actually bracelets of the. Like I think he just made money doing shit like that, and then bought more rings and just kept reselling because like he had some money, but like he also did like was like he had some money, but compared to Steve Martin, not nearly as much.
yeah.
And like
I think everything with his job was probably legit.
so
I
do you
don't.
think he well maybe he wasn't homeless in the like legit sense, but maybe he just like he had a job, he had money, but he just always moved around because he didn't want to
Yeah.
go back home because his wife was dead. So like he had a home technically, he just
Mhm.
like didn't ever go back to it. Like
Well,
he
and
tried to keep himself occupied with his job and traveling.
there are some people who like travel on the job so much that they don't have actual homes. They live out of their suitcase and just go from motel to motel.
Yeah, and he did have the giant case that
Yeah.
was prevalent. And like he also like knew someone everywhere they went, even in the back road town. So that kind of
Yeah.
makes me think he was just like an eternal wanderer. Like he like always knew everyone. He knew all of these like, oh yeah, like, oh hey, this bus doesn't go from here to here, right? Like I I've been through here before. So I think he was just I think that maybe was the implication, not that he was homeless per se,
Yeah.
just didn't have a home anymore in that like his wife died.
Yeah.
Definitely also saw that coming a million miles away. That was very highly telegraphed. Like it wasn't really much of a twist, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a twist, like a shift in
tonal.
tone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, because I was like, oh, this is just a goofy, lighthearted, comedy, quote unquote. Like, all right, so like, when are they busting out the wife death? And I just kept waiting for it and waiting for it.
Yeah.
Then Steve Martin was on the train. I was like, he's got to turn back around. He's gonna realize he's like his wife's dead and come back, isn't he? There it is. There it is. There's the dead wife. I was ready. I called it. But yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm
I
trying to think of moments that like I thought were like I like the car burning was kind of funny, I guess. It was entertaining.
Yeah, I liked all of those scenes. And I mean, probably the most iconic scene in the movie where he's talking to the rental car lady. And
Yeah.
just like I that made me think of you, Philip, dropping the F bomb before every conceivable noun.
See, but I don't do it out of anger. I do it out of love.
Just
I
yes.
fucking love you, Seth. You
I fucking love you too, Philip.
see, look at you. It's spreading
Oh, wow.
like chlamydia.
Um, but in everything, I did a little bit of trivia reading up on it, but before talking about it tonight, and a lot of the stuff I read centered around that scene. Like apparently, that's why Steve Martin signed on was after reading that scene. Supposedly, that's the. I mean, I guess this makes sense. The reason why the movie is rated R and not, PG or PG-13 is because of that one scene with 18 f bombs and
That's
one
like the only time they've dropped the F bombs in that scene, I believe.
maybe.
I don't think there was any other F bombs. Yeah, it's definitely PG-13. I feel like because there's really nothing provocative in it. Like honestly, I
I
think
don't know.
I think our ratings for language are stupid. Like the fact like I could go on a whole rant about the rating system in this country. I think it's incredibly dumb and outdated. But it's also the only reason we got out of the even shittier Hayes Code. So you
Yeah.
take what you can get, I guess. But yeah, no, it was a decent movie. Like it was fun. I guess it was. I feel like I've never been a huge. I can't think of any Steve Martin movies that I just like love. Like, but I also don't think I've seen that many Steve Martin movies.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a bunch of John Candy movies that I either enjoy or like at least thought were okay.
Hmm.
But Steve Martin, I'm really struggling to think of very many that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, like I mean, I remember seeing like Cheaper by the Dozen when I was a kid, but I
Yeah.
don't. Oh yeah, he was in the Pink Panther movie. I forgot that was a thing. I don't remember
I
anything
I
about
never I didn't think it looked good when I was a kid. So
I think it was fine. I think I watched it on a bus trip when I was like 8. The thing that the this movie does really well is it really shows how bad the public transportation system is in this country. It
yeah.
hasn't gotten better since the 80s.
Yeah.
Like this guy has gotten fucked by every single form of public transportation, much like the rest of the country gets fucked by public transportation.
The fact that to get around to go from New York to Chicago to get around a storm, they needed to do a landing in the middle of Kansas, which I might remind you is at least like 500 miles west of Chicago.
Yeah, it's yeah. How does that even work?
Yeah,
Like that doesn't.
I
I
feel
think
like
that
there's got
actually
to be some
happens
sort
though.
of there's got to be some sort of like leap in logic there because
Well, see, the thing is,
I
there are
don't
things that
foresee.
like there are reroutes like that that happen, and a lot of
Yeah,
it does have to do going back to air traffic control. They know like all the weather patterns and stuff. There may just if it was like a super big storm, like there just may even to get to a closer city that like theoretically could have been safe, they have to take the absolute safest, even if like that would probably make it if there's even a slight chance of like too extreme turbulence or whatever, they have to reroute to somewhere safer. Like
mhm.
that's one of their policies
I
for commercial flights. So like even anything closer, if there's even like a trace of this major storm, they would have had to completely reroute. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just get flown back almost, honestly, because that
yeah.
sometimes happens too, depending on how far along the flight they are and how much fuel they have. There are a lot of factors that go into rerouting of planes. So yeah, I'm busting out that plane knowledge. It's not completely for waste. I knew it. I got that ground license. I can
Look,
taxi a plane.
Look at you.
I could legally taxi a plane before I could legally taxi a car. But yeah, so like I think stuff like that, like that is one aspect of the film that I think is like obviously they took everything to a comical extreme, but it's weirdly accurate as to how shitty the public transport
Yeah.
system is in this nation. Like,
Well, I think I read that like John Hughes was inspired to write this movie after a trip from New York to Chicago that like
went horribly wrong.
yeah.
See, I don't know. I don't care how desperate I like. I'm not one of those people who if there was only one bedroom in a hotel room and I was with like a friend and I was like, okay, hey, there's only one bed, we'll share the bed.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I'd ever share a bed with someone I met an hour
Yeah.
ago.
That's a little
Like that. And then also they had that big fight. He like called him all this shit. And then John Kenny was like, you know what? I love myself anyway. If you want to leave, leave. And then he just gets back in bed. And then Steve Martin's just like shrugs and then gets back into bed. Why are you both okay with this now? You just lost your shit at each other. And now you're just going to, I don't.
that speech that got me. I
Really?
like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me.
I thought it was cheesy, honestly.
I mean, it was just kind of made me sad.
Oh,
It was also John Candy. All of the good things I have to say about this movie have to do with John Candy.
yeah. No, he was definitely the highlight of the movie. Steve Martin
Yeah,
was toast. He
yeah,
was just plain bread. He's fine. Like he's funny in other things. It was just like
yeah.
he was just such a bland character in this film. He was, oh, I'm angry, rah, rah, rah. But I don't spend enough time with my family. I really should, but after work. It's like, oh wait, I know, I understand the meaning of family now after spending all this time with this strange man. Yay, I love my family now.
Tell us how you really feel here, Philip.
It was bland. I've seen it a million times, and I've seen it done better. I'd rather Hook is the same movie, but Hook is the same movie as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, except John
Hot
Candy is
takes here.
Tinkerbell,
Um. Okay.
and the public transit system is Hook. It's Captain Hook.
I see it. I see the parallels.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
And Hook is better. You know what? I'll say it. Maybe
I
controversial opinion. Hook's a
will
better
fully
movie.
agree with that. Hook is a better movie than Planes,
Hook
Trains.
was blasted by critics though, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is beloved by critics.
Yeah.
Except us, the
Well, I
real
feel
critics.
like everything John Hughes makes is like beloved by. Well, okay, I'm gonna say that, and then I'm all of his movies are probably gonna have like 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, he has like a lot of classics. Like, I mean, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club. I will say, I'm about to get blasted by our 3 subscribers, but excuse me, 15. I don't think I'm a huge John Hughes fan.
I'm not like he has made movies that I really love. I really love the vacation movies. I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but like I as a director in general, I've just not been super impressed.
I mean, I think my favorite of his movies is probably The Breakfast Club, but like I had it so hyped up for me
Yeah.
that like it just didn't really do much for me. Like overall, like it's probably my favorite of his movies though. And then Ferris Bueller's fine. I don't really get the appeal of that one either.
Have,
They're just all his movies I've seen are fine, including Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. They're
have
fine.
you ever seen any of the vacation movies?
No.
Those are definitely the only ones that I've seen that I would say are like genuinely like like standout quality.
Okay. I'll get to them. Although isn't Chevy Chase in at least one of them?
He's in all of them. He's the
I
main
really
character.
don't like
And I
Chevy
mean,
Chase.
he's a terrible person, but like he's funny in those.
That's also why I don't like Matthew Broderick because, you mean I don't like Ferris Bueller much because I don't like Matthew Broderick because he's a terrible human being.
Matthew Broderick, we will get into in a future episode. Very strong.
Are we saving the Matthew Broderick episode?
Yes.
Oh, can we add him to the list?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
The list that may or may not exist. What's this list you're talking about?
What is this list? It's the Death Note.
Oh, I was gonna make a Schindler's List joke, but
Either way, people die, just like when Matthew Broderick's involved with an automobile, tied it all
Wow,
together.
going full circle. Really, really bringing it back.
Wait, hold up, I think I have a cough. Matthew Broderick's a shit human. Oh man, I must have corona. I should really get that checked.
Well, we just lost one of our subscribers.
Matthew Broderick was a huge, huge Fruit Neighbors fan.
All of our subscribers are us, Spencer, and then a host of celebrities.
We've lost Rush Limbaugh. We've lost Lin-Manuel Miranda. We've lost Matthew Broderick. They're dropping like flies.
Man.
Hey, we still have Billy Shears.
Yeah. Oh, Billy Shears is our biggest fan.
He loves us. He's like, Paul was dead. It was me. I was Paul. I like how we just spent like 5 minutes referencing all of our past podcasts that like 3 people have
Look,
listened
it's the 10 video anniversary. We can do that.
Yeah, we can retrospective, Jesus. I fucking hate Matthew Broderick. We'll do a Matthew Broderick episode.
Yeah.
I'll let it all out then. I have a lot of thoughts. A lot.
Anyway. So, oh gosh. What
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
John Hughes. Oh yeah, John Hughes always creeped me out anyway with like
Really?
how obsessed he was with Molly Ringwald.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of
yeah. As far as his actual movies go, I feel like he just makes very vanilla, but like a little cheeky. Like they're a little cheeky, but like they're pretty standard. Just like they're fun, but like they're like.
I hate to interrupt you here, but I forgot that he did Home Alone 2, and contrary to your incorrect beliefs, that is also a standout film.
Well, he was involved in all the Home Alones.
As is Home Alone 2. After that, I don't really. They were not good.
I'm not a Home Alone fan. Slapstick is not my thing. The only good joke in Home Alone is when he's at the store and he goes, "Is this toothbrush approved by the American Dental Association?" That's the only time I got a smirk. The entire movie. The entire film.
Well, Philip, that's because you're dead inside.
I am dead inside, but like, I can laugh sometimes. Every now and then I have emotions. Every now and then I fall apart. And
what was the last movie you watched that made you laugh more than 5 times?
Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story.
Okay.
That made me actually chuckle several times. I was happily surprised. And I watched that recently for the first time. We should do Walk Hard.
Okay. I've not seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Okay.
It was enjoyable. We'll do that someday. I'll put it on the list.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really know what else I have to say, honestly. This might be our shortest media one yet.
Yeah.
John Candy's great. I love him in Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he's amazing in Spaceballs.
I mean, most things John Candy is in, whether the thing is actually good or not, he always gives it his all. So
yeah, he was definitely, again, like
he was
the highlight of this movie.
Other assorted John Candy movies.
He was absolutely the soul of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was the reason to watch it. He was very he was like, supposedly the annoying like character, and like I mean I guess like if you were sat in an airplane and like that was your only and I think that was kind of the point of the movie is like you don't actually know what people are going through, first impressions, blah blah blah. It was just a little ham-fisted how it handled that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like it had a nice moral it was trying to go for, but when you just slap dead wife on the last 5 minutes, like it's
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little heavy-handed.
I've got to say, Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore is the superior Thanksgiving movie. I remember bringing that up once. Oh yeah, Son-in-Law is the best Thanksgiving movie, and somebody was like, "No, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles," and I couldn't talk back because I hadn't seen it. Having seen it, it doesn't measure up.
Excuse you, a Peanuts Thanksgiving special?
It's fine.
What? Fuck you. Peanuts is great.
It's got that segregated dinner table.
Okay, there's like that was the studio. Schultz was actually very progressive.
I do know that. That's true.
Schultz was great. Schultz tried real hard. Schultz
but he
tried.
thanks.
I am pro Schultz.
Yeah, I'm pro Schultz too.
Actually, I have like a collection of some of the Peanuts comics.
We
very
should
nice.
do Peanuts one day.
I'm down for that. I love the Peanuts. Add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
This is just our new shitty ass meme.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. I wouldn't say I'm anti planes, trains, and automobiles. I wouldn't say that by any means, but I wouldn't say I'm pro it either. I feel neutral towards planes, trains, and automobiles.
I think I'm also gotta go neutral. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there. Like a lot of these kind of films, especially from the time period, like, you know, they're lighthearted, they're fun, but they just don't add anything. I feel like there's nothing new there. I feel like, and like, sure, there's the argument of like, oh, maybe things since then have been influenced by it. So like that's why I think I've seen it a million times. But even other films from around that time period, I feel like I've seen it all. I've seen it already.
Yeah.
I've seen this. And like I feel like I've seen it done better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a neutral. So it's planes, trains, and automobiles.
All right. Philip, as our regular viewers may recall, Philip did the random thing last week, but Philip had such a great idea for this week's that he's
Don't hype it up. Don't hype it up.
It's you know what? The way Philip's been talking about it, I think this might be our best surprise topic yet.
Nope, not in the slightest. It's the laziest shit in the world.
So what is it, Philip?
All right, so it's not a video. It's not. We're just gonna talk about. So here's what it is.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about planes, as in like fields.
Yes.
Training, like the process of exercising or learning something and getting better at something.
Indeed.
And you know those things that like hang above baby cribs, mobiles. Specifically the ones that go automatically, that you don't have to like wind up. Mobiles.
Well, I'm glad you picked all three of these topics because I've quite a bit to say about each. First of all, planes. My second favorite energy source in Magic the Gathering, after forests, of course.
Jesus, busted out the fucking magic reference.
Look, I don't have a job. I don't have a lot to do, Philip.
Have you actually been learning Magic?
I've known how to play Magic the Gathering.
That's what I've always wanted to learn how to play.
Yeah, I mean, I always forget and have to remind myself the directions, but yeah, we'll play sometime.
Okay.
When we're like not 1,000 miles apart from each other.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a boundary. Planes are nice, like the fields, you lay out in some grass and get eaten by ants.
They have wheat sometimes.
Sometimes I hear the rain something down the plains of Spain.
I hear they've got some pretty great ones out west. The bison, the buffalo.
They all roam.
They roam
out in the plains.
Wait, what's that line from Oklahoma? Oklahoma, where the cold wind blows across the plains.
Something like that.
If they've got so much cold wind blowing over the plains, why do I want to go to Oklahoma?
It's chilly. You need a sweater.
I need a jacket. I don't own a jacket.
There are like some plains, I guess, in Alabama, like just fields.
Yeah,
and like, they're fine.
I imagine there's plains just about everywhere.
I'm an urban guy. I always grew up in like, the plains and like out in the boonies, and just hated it. I'm not a rural man. Not in my soul. Yeah. I had that city iron in my heart when I was born.
I thrive in suburbia. I like to go out in the plains and like look at God's creation. But I definitely
See, even suburbs, like I don't even think I'm like big on anymore. Like I think I kind of like being in the heart of the city, just like everything's right fucking there. Like I mean, suburbs are fine, but like also keep in mind I didn't have a car most of my life, so like I even like now that I have one and can theoretically go wherever I want. Like I guess I just have it ingrained in my head of just like the closer things are to me, the better. Just
Mhm.
like so, I'm like, and I'm smack dab in the middle of a city, like then I don't have to worry about it. Like even if I don't have a car or something goes terribly wrong, I can figure something out. You know? So like I'm I think you know what? I'm anti plane. I'm anti fields. I'm anti middle of nowhere. I am tear down all the planes,
I
put up
am
skyscrapers.
pro planes. So
Anti planes.
go,
Go get in a
do
car
that to
opposite of Mathew
yourself.
Broderick.
Or that. Do that.
That's a prime insult that only people who know the Matthew Broderick story will get. Read up the Wikipedia article of the time
Yeah,
Matthew Broderick killed
Wikipedia
people.
article in the description below.
Come hate Matthew Broderick like I do.
Anyway, training. Train. You train. The verb. I spend a lot of time training my Pokemon. You've got to train them.
Then
I
you'll never
am
learn if you
something
don't.
of a trainer.
You could say that in the most technical sense of the word. Um, this is so stupid.
I hate you, Philip.
Is this as bad as the kissing episode? It's got to be close.
No, Philip. You dug your own grave here. We're riding this baby out.
We're riding this train, this crazy train. Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about the recording artist.
Oh, I don't like Train. I am anti Train the band. They're just so generic. They're incredibly generic, and also they literally have a song. It's like 50 or something ways to say goodbye. They just straight up stole the riff from the Phantom of the Opera.
Mm.
Like listen to that song. I think it's 50 ways to say goodbye. Let me Google it real quick. Yeah, 50 ways to say goodbye. They literally just straight up like go listen to that song. It is literally they just straight up steal the of Phantom of the Opera blatantly. Just
Yeah.
it's like why?
Well, I mean,
Why?
Play That Song is just heart and soul.
Play that song by who?
Train.
So they just steal music.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people do that, but
Okay, I feel like there's a difference than like with like a rapper like like taking like a beat of something and remixing it and then rapping. I think that's more creative than just straight up stealing. Like you're not doing anything new with it. Like I guess
yeah.
the lyrics, but at least like if you're remixing the beat, you're doing something. Like I don't know. It's just I don't like it.
Gotcha.
Music thieves train, and we just lost another subscriber.
It's like how what is it? Never mind. I don't remember what it is. Just cut this out.
Will I tune in to find out?
Oh God, you are by far the worst editor ever.
Excuse you, I'm a wonderful editor. I keep in what's funny. If it's humorous, it's in.
Am I funny?
Have you listened to the podcast? It's mostly just me talking to myself.
Okay, so let's measure up the runtime that either of us is present in a video, and compare. We'll see what all makes the cut.
It's all me. Yeah, no, training is important. You got to better yourselves. You got to improve. You can't. It's so stupid. You can't. You can't do anything if you don't improve yourself. Go out there, kids, and if you're like, there's so many times you're like, oh, I'm not good at drawing. Like, you can't get good at it if you don't try it. So fucking train.
Then there is also, it's just hard,
Everything's hard.
I'm anti-training.
You gotta get better, Seth. How are you gonna get better if you don't train?
I am pleased with where I am.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Should always strive for something better.
Well,
Strive.
I'm already the best, so
Well, that's not accurate.
I'm the best at everything I do.
Well, there you go. Unless you're Seth, training is good and it helps you improve. There's no hope for Seth.
Correct.
And then mobiles.
Automobiles. So they've always. I mean, I mean, I guess I can see the appeal. I guess if you're
As an
a
infant,
kid seeing like shapes and all that going above you, like I mean, because I'll just pick something random, like random objects, and stare at them to this day, just sort of studying the crevices and.
Seth loves those crevices.
What can I say? I'm a big crevice guy.
Jesus. I feel like, I'm not an infant. Depends on who you ask. But I'm not like, I don't know. I feel like that would get boring. Like just, I guess there's not much to do when you're an infant.
I think it just kind of gives you something to focus on while your thoughts are.
It's like a fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Just above your head and makes little music.
Yeah.
Let's bring mobiles back. Let's like set them up in our rooms.
I mean, they've got adult coloring books. We've got adult playground.
Adult mobiles a thing.
I think if we brought back adult mobiles, we could.
That's our next merch.
Yeah.
Root Neighbors mobiles.
Boom! It's gonna be our disembodied heads.
With a shitty little song that ends up being just haunting, scary. It's just a horror film as our faces just circle around you as you try to sleep.
It's going to be alternatively Taylor Swift or grunge music.
And then every now and then you just hear whispered over the little speaker on it, "Would you fucking elf?" And then back to grunge and Taylor Swift.
Yikes. It's actually Taylor Swift singing grunge music.
Oh God.
She's covering
Eddie Vedder singing
all of Pearl Jam's greatest.
What would that even sound like? I can imagine what Eddie Vedder singing Taylor Swift would sound like. I don't know what Taylor Swift singing Eddie Vedder would sound like.
Don't call me daughter.
Even flow. I broke up with him again.
Oh my God, it's perfect.
There you go. That's beautiful. Jesus
Taylor
Christ.
Swift, you need your next album idea?
Go listen to some Pearl Jam. Get some inspiration, Taylor Swift. Actually, listen to good music and you'll make a better album.
Hey, Philip, go choke on your own dick.
I'm not that flexible.
Or, I'm sorry, choke on Pearl Jam's dick since it's already far up there.
Ooh, yes. I'm not going to continue that sentence. Yeah, yes, Eddie. Jesus.
That's also going to be one of our T-shirts. It's just yes, Eddie.
Yes, Eddie. Jesus Christ. You think Eddie Vedder would fucking elf?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I could see him doing it. Yeah, I think he'd fucking elf. I was going to go down the list of every celebrity. Would they or would they not fucking elf?
So, anyway, automobiles. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm for it.
I have nothing against mobiles. I'm sure they're fine for infants. Quality entertainment. That's what we strive to do here on the Root Neighbors podcast.
The job that they are meant to do.
Stay tuned for our Root Neighbor automobiles, adult that you can just put above your bed and listen to some sweet, sick ass tunes or something. I don't know. That's why we need a marketing team, Seth. Before we hire any new talent or make new content,
we need a manager.
We do.
Yeah.
Someone to actually get us on our shit. I do actually have plans for audience. I'm going to start making some more content. Seth has a few ideas as well. We're gonna start branching out. Try and make some more content. I've got a couple of things in the works.
The Brute neighborhood will grow wider yet.
we have some thoughts. Maybe bring some more people on
Yeah.
if we can con someone else into this. Got some video ideas. Tune in. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it'll be out. I'm going to post the first video and something I'm trying out. I'm going to be trying out doing Let's Plays, basically, of the Final Fantasy series. I'm going to trim them down so they're not, easy to watch, so they're easy to watch and stuff. And just, see if there's any traction. If not, then, whatever. But, I'm a big fan of the series. So, come watch the content, man. Come hop on this crazy train. Let us know what you think. And I've got a couple other things in the works, too, that aren't video game related. So, yeah, a little bit of something for everybody. Tell your friends, bring them on board, bring them into the neighborhood. Apparently, that's going to be our thing now.
Bring them into the neighborhood. Will you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
The more we say "welcome to the neighborhood" or whatever, that it's sounding very culty. We're starting a cult, Seth.
Yes, this is a cult. If you are listening long enough to get to this point of the video,
you're in the cult.
Welcome to our cult.
You're officially in the cult. Once you hit the 15-minute mark,
pretty much, yeah.
You're in. If you make it past the first 15 minutes, you're in.
If
there's no getting out.
Ever make it through our first topic.
If you make it to the media section, you're in. There's no getting out. All right, Seth. So shall we introduce our new idea for going forward for future weeks?
We shall. So after much deliberation, Philip and I decided we're gonna roll out a new feature where instead of just whatever the first thing to pop into our heads, for new topics, we have come up with 2 lists. One for our first random topic and one for our second media topic. And we will put them into a randomizer and come up with random topics for every single week. So I'm very excited about this new setup. Let's try it out. See what our topics are for next week.
All right, so I'm pulling up the randomizer now, getting it ready. And our topic for next week is, when did you add hometowns?
It's been on there.
Oh, well, hometowns.
Hometowns.
All right, sure. I missed that one.
Yeah.
All right, snuck that one in on me. All right, hometowns. And our second topic is Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, I've not seen that yet, so
You're gonna have to see it. It's I love it, so I'm very excited.
Okay.
All right, so next week we have hometowns, Pan's Labyrinth, and so because I did 2 weeks in a row, Seth is gonna do 2 weeks in a row. Then we'll get back on track. So next week is gonna be Seth's turn for a random topic. So tune in next week for hometowns, Pan's Labyrinth, and whatever the fuck Seth comes up with.
Oh, Philip is not ready for it. I don't even know what it is, and I already know.
It's gonna, I swear, if it's mining labor towns again.
Oh, it's even better.
Oh God. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you. Tune in for hopefully some new content. Maybe by our next podcast there'll be a couple of the things on the channel. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us, and please share with your friends. Spread the word. Join the neighborhood.
We great last 10 episodes, and I hope y'all stick with us for at least 10 more.
Yeah, at least, maybe.
Yeah.
If we get to an episode 100, that'll be incredible.
Then we'll do Gone with the Martian again.
Yeah, we'll do Gone with the Martian again.
Okay.
For our 100th episode. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you. Love you. Tune in next week.